Okay guys, so this is uncharted territory. I've never really done this before, but we're gonna see how it works. So I am making my sugar plum fairy costume. Again, I cannot stress enough that I am not a seamstress. Like, not even just not a seamstress, I am not someone that even knows how to do a straight line if I were to put binder paper through the sewing machine. So this is going to be quite the task for me to do. Now, what I want to first start with though is the piece that fans out behind her head. So I'm going to be using these wires to kind of help me achieve that. And I just went to Joann's, and this is what we're going to do. So this part right here is going to be the behind, or the top, excuse me. So I'm gonna kind of measure this out to where I know it's gonna fit me, and I'm gonna make kind of like a rainbow, because this is gonna be the whole part that's behind my head, right? Should have taken it this way. So all I'm doing is kind of grabbing this bad boy and doing that, and I think that's about right. Let me just quickly put it on my head and look in the mirror real quick. Maybe a little bit less than that. Okay, so I'm going to cut it right here. And then, so there's my first one. And then I'm gonna take another piece and do that right below. And this is basically just giving the structure. I watched a tutorial on YouTube, and I feel like anytime I watch a tutorial on YouTube, I'm like, oh, I can conquer the world. I know how to do everything. When in reality, I totally don't. So if I can do this, and if this turns out, this means anyone can do it, which is exciting. And the more I do this, the better I'm gonna get at it. So this is really exciting, and it's gonna be exciting to see my progress on film too, even though it's gonna be cringeworthy. All right, so I think about right there-ish, because I'm gonna want it to be that big. I think that's where I'm going to stop right there. So those are my two pieces. Now, to give this a little bit more structure, I'm gonna put these together, but to give this a more support, so I'm just gonna quickly attach these. Okay, first and foremost, I will say that YouTuber made that look a lot easier than it was, because it is not easy at all. He's probably been doing it for a long time though. Okay. Turn it up. All right, so now I'm gonna put these two things together. And that was another thing. He didn't really mention how he secured this down. And because I don't know what I'm doing, I kind of feel I need that step by step. So I'm just gonna figure that out, I guess. But so this is the basic shape of what it's going to be, okay? And now I'm going to take that poster board. You could use cardboard, foam board. Cardboard might be too heavy. I'm not sure. I've never done it. It just seems to me like it would be. So then let's do some poster board right over this and just kind of use some scissors and cut it. I got a big piece of really well-loved poster board. I always try to keep these on hand for when the kids have school projects. And this one has just been in the basement. But we're gonna cover it with fabric, so it's totally fine to have it be the way that it is. I know I shouldn't care about this laying down, but it really is bothering me. Okay, so now I'm just gonna go ahead and cut out the edges of this. Okay, hot glue always scares the junk out of me, but here we go. And I'm just going to kind of glue this to the frame. Okay, not too shabby. We'll see how that goes and hopefully it works. I happen to love hot glue, even though it scares me, and I think that this might be sturdy enough. I bought some beautiful, beautiful fabric to put over this and to make the costume with. So anyone that does cosplay, please just don't cringe. I'm a makeup girl. I'm definitely not a costume girl. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so that is set aside momentarily while I figure this part out. So I went to Joann's and got some fabric, and the sweet lady that was helping me cut things really understood my plight in that I had no idea what I was doing. So we were kind of measuring me and kind of doing funny things, but my vision, and I feel like that is so intact. Like I have the vision, I know what I want. This is the skirt part. And again, for my transformations, you guys usually only see me from like the waist up. And so I didn't get too much, but I do want this to fit higher up, almost empire or umpier, however you want to say it, style. I got my corset out that I've used for lots of different things. And I'm actually going to use this as a guide because this is going to be everywhere on the bodice. And then on either side of this, kind of coming in and making that shape like that, I am going to be using this fabric, which I think is stunning. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so just cutting it that way and sewing it if I can. I might just do little stitches just so it will work for the picture. But I just kind of wanted to show you guys this process and what I'm doing and how I'm figuring it out. So it's going to be that, just like that. Let's wrap this around so you can kind of see. So the one side, then the other side like that. Then the floofy skirt like that. And then I am going to make 2 bands up here. All in all, that's basically how it's going to be. And I think I'm going to use this for those sleeves that kind of come off. I'm very excited. And then I have a really light fabric. Let me grab that. That is scalloped at the top. So when I do that sweetheart cut, this is gonna come up over it. And then this is also, it's a very light lavender. I don't know if it's pulling that at all in the video, but this is also what is going to be behind me. I'm gonna have some purple behind it, but this will be what the neck piece is from behind. So I'm really excited. So again, I told you that I'm not good at sewing and I finally had to give up. So because this is not going to be a working costume piece that I'm gonna have to wear all the time, a friend was like, why don't you just hot glue gun it? So I think that's just what I'm gonna do. This sewing stuff, since we don't need it anymore. Now with the corset kind of buckling in the front, again guys, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm totally making this up as I go. Because this comes in the front, I don't want this part to be seen, so I'm gonna cut maybe that much so that there's a flap that kind of goes over that part. So maybe about this much. And I'm using the absolute worst scissors as well. These are from Costco. But again, I feel like creation is all about what you have and the effort you're willing to put into it. For me, I just really want this to look good enough for a picture. I'm not wanting this to win awards, obviously. I'm not wanting this to like shock people. I just really want it to be good enough for a picture. That's all I want. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. So now I'm going to glue the other part down and then we'll keep going. Okay, so we have this kind of done. I've hooked a couple of them together apart. This is kind of what it's looking like. So it's getting its shape. This is going to be in the back, so I don't really care what goes with that. This is kind of the shape of what it looks like. And then flip it. And then these will hook on to these bad boys right here. And as soon as those are all hooked, then I'll just do this and kind of tuck it in so that it works. I think now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tackle the side panels. So I'm going to take this right here and put that on, and then take the other side and just put it on. Then we're going to use this one on the other side, so I'm just going to cut that. Okay, so now what I'm doing is, I know this is where I want the curve of the line, and so I'm just kind of going right along this edge here. My word, this is so much better than sewing. Sadly, it looks a lot cleaner too than what I was trying to do. All right, I'm loving this. Okay, so I've got that line, and I just want it to stay kind of firm in a few other places. So maybe I'll put some on this little guy right here. Okay, now let's just do that to the other side. Now I might tack this here, but leave this flap open so that I can tuck this in for the picture. Okay, so we're laying aside the bodice for right now, mostly because I'm wearing it and trying it out. But these are so sharp. So I'm going to see if I can do an experiment. We'll see if it works. I just want these to be so contained in glue that they don't kill me. Okay, all right, so let's put that aside. Right there. Actually, don't stick. And then we're gonna take this fabric, and I think what I'm gonna do, and I'm not gonna show you on camera because I am awful at it, but I'm gonna do an accordion type thing and bunch it, and I'm just gonna sew the bottom and then add that to the top of the bodice. So wish me luck. Guys, look, I sewed. So this is all the fun stuff that's gonna be up on here. And I sewed it. I just took a needle and kept going in and out, and just pulled it. So it bunched all together, and then I separated it a little bit, and then I just hot glued it. So now I'm just gonna snip right here. And on the other side of this fabric, this long curtain looking thing, is another scalloped edge. So I'm gonna do that and put it on the other side, and then I think this part is done. Okay, so I've taken this fabric and I've put this all on here. I'm just gonna cut it so that I can fold it that way as well. And then I'm just going to kind of eyeball this like I've been eyeballing everything. And just kind of forming it to be the piece that goes behind. Kind of like that. I don't want a lot of purple showing through, but it just didn't look good with this on the black. So I don't know, something kind of like that, and then I'll glue it down and it'll be done. Oh my word, guys, I think it's done. So I have just been layering and layering and layering and layering and just wanting that really frilly look. And I think we've got it. So some of these I tied with string because I'm just not good at this. Tied with string, put it all down here, and I mean, it's all for the cause, right? If this ends up looking amazing, then who cares how I did it? So, done with this part, and done with this part. And I feel like the skirt, so done with that. I feel like the skirt can just kind of be wrapped around my waist. I really don't need to do anything to it because I just need the beginning frills of it. So I might just tuck this up underneath the thing, but now I need to get started on the wig.